is up, Impact Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Anthem of Impact Wrestling show. I'm your host, Jason. As always, we are going to do a quick review over last night's episode from March 1st, 2018 of Impact Wrestling. And overall, man, that was a great show. That was so much fun to watch. Just so many different aspects. Like, you can finally start to see this is gonna be, again, I still don't think it's fully their vision, but I think we're getting a big look into D'Amore and Callis's vision of what they want Impact Wrestling to look like weekly, on a weekly basis for their show. What their production's gonna be, what kind of storylines they're gonna do, what kind of time they're gonna give their matches, if it's gonna be edgier or not, and stuff like that. I think we're finally starting to see it, and to be honest, I'm stoked. I think they've got a good vision. I think for once it's cohesive, and I think for once we might go a full year with no retool, no rebrand. I think this whole year is just kind of a consistent rebranding, and I understand that, but I don't mean like, hey, this is now all, we're changing it all back up. Oh, hey, we're gonna do a whole bunch of new other stuff. I just think little things are gonna be introduced throughout the year. What I think, it's not gonna be like, oh, the next set of tapings, we gotta change everything. I do think we're gonna be on a very consistent road now through 2018 with these two men, and then of course, obviously, Ed Nordholm at the helm. But yeah, no, last night's episode though specifically, I absolutely enjoyed. It was a very fun watch. Some good matches, good storylines for once. Like as far as like good storylines, good like storyline segments, I guess I should say, right? I thought those were all good. Video packages were good. Yeah, just the commentary team was still okay. Sanjay has his moments where he does sound really good. Other times it's just kind of there. I thought the crowd was actually pretty good. The crowd was actually packed. So, and it looked like that first section of like the bleacher seats, it looked like a lot of kids. Excuse me, gotta grab a drink down from down here. So I'm guessing maybe there was like some type, the people out in the park maybe brought some people in, or maybe they just knew it was Impact Wrestling and they just decided to take a field trip there or something. I don't know. But it was nice and packed. I liked it. One thing was, though, you could tell that was definitely cut and paste show from different nights of tapings, because at one point in one segment, there's this one kind of regular fan there. She's there all the time, and I can't remember what she goes by on Twitter right now, but she's there all the time. She's the one that gets into it, or not gets into it, but always had like kind of like a running thing with like Lashley, and I think Tyrus, and some other people. But anyway, I'm sure most people probably know what I'm talking about, or who I'm talking about. Again, I apologize, can't remember what she goes by on Twitter. Don't remember her name off the top of my head. Probably should have looked at it. I do notes. I probably should have just looked it up and written down my notes, but I didn't do that, because it just kind of popped in my head as I'm going over this. At one point she had like the Rosemary makeup on, or at least something that looked like it, whether it was makeup or just like a bandana or whatever. And then there was another segment where it's just gone, like nothing. It was all gone. So just something that I noticed. So just thought it was kind of funny. Most fans aren't going to notice that. It was just something that I did. But yeah, I thought overall though it was good. The fact that it could have been sliced from a couple different tapings, I think just goes to prove that there was at least a couple nights where they were fairly packed. They had a good look. It had a good look to it as far as people there. a lot of people. So I definitely liked that aspect, because that's kind of one thing. Unless it's a pay-per-view or a live show, whenever it's just regular tapings, the Impact Zone sometimes it just looks empty. I know it, and I know a lot of people get on and like, no, it's not. And I've seen people post pictures on Twitter of the Impact Zone, and it does look fairly, packed. But especially, and one thing I do like, speaking of looking empty, one thing that I do like, and I've noticed these last 3 to 4 episodes of Impact, they're not afraid anymore to like turn the camera around. And like, because what I mean by that is, we all know there's the hard cam side. That's where they really fill up. Then you have a little bit down the entrance on both sides, and then you've got like a row, maybe 2, on the 2 other sides. Then so you have the production side that's only got like 1 or 2 rows or whatever, and then another where the announce team used to be. There's only like, I think it looks like a couple rows there whenever they've shown them. Before, it was like they wouldn't do that, so they would never let the wrestlers come and kind of play in that area. Now they don't care, and I like that, because it's them saying like, look, we're not going to try to pretend like we've got a packed house here. We do a show in a basically a film studio, and this is where our fans sit. They sit here, but our wrestlers can go around. They can go do whatever. It's just other parts of our arena that is used for other things. So I like that. But enough babbling. Let's get into the show itself. We start off with EC3 versus Tyrus, and again, they've been pretty consistent. They're showing they're not starting off with anything else. They might do like obviously like the video packages, but then the first thing that they're doing for that night's episode is a match. And this one we get EC3 versus Tyrus. But I love how, like I've always said, the name is Impact. Make an impact. Like, that should be your theme. That should be your gimmick. That's, in fact, that's whenever Impact, that's how Impact started. It was like an hour of Impact Wrestling, it was an Impact for 1 hour. And now, obviously, it's over too, so, you don't want to go. You gotta let people have time to breathe before you get on the next match, but, that should be your new gimmick, though. It's an Impact, so we're going to hit you in the face right off the bat with a match. Now, it should always be some type of good match. This was not that. I will say this, though. Tyrus has only been back for like 2 weeks. And in these 2 weeks, he's already been booked better than he did almost his whole last stint. He's been booked to be a big baddie. Somebody you don't double cross. He's not gonna play the back fiddle. He ain't gonna be anybody's bitch. You know what I mean? And so like I think he looks better. Plus I like him with that full beard. He looks a little more menacing than if he has just like some of the different kind of looks that he's had. And I actually like too that there's a little bit of gray showing. Like it gives him that old grizzled vet look. I don't know. It looks better. One thing that stood out to me that I was disappointed in, and I hate to say this, and that's EC3. I know some people have pointed out before they thought that he's kind of phoning it in the last couple episodes from these set of tapings. I haven't really noticed that. I thought he still has put out some pretty good stuff, kicked some pretty good promos. This one, he was so over the top comedic. And I felt like it downplayed what they were trying to do with Tyrus. And they were clearly trying to make Tyrus now be kind of almost another guy like Brian Cage. He's a monster. He's a badass. Maybe not like a full-blown monster like Congo Kong, but he's a guy that you don't want to mess with. He's a guy that's going to destroy you if you try to get in the ring with him. And I thought just EC3 is just over the top. I mean, even whenever he was putting in offense, he was going like way over the top. He was trying to give, whenever he was doing the chops to Tyrus, and he's kind of started doing this. Like, I couldn't tell if he was trying to do like the Moose thing, or like how sometimes back in the day Ultimate Warrior would just kind of be like crazy and have things moving whenever he would do things. But it was just so over the top that it was I don't know. And then plus, if you're gonna have this one be, I always said, first match of the night needs to be, you know, something entertaining. It doesn't always have to be like X Division, Fast and Fury. You know, if it's a good tag team match, if it's a hardcore match, if it's a street fight, you know, something that has some type of impactfulness to the booking of the match. This was EC3's going out of the ring, he's stalling, he's not doing anything, he's being goofy. Then he finally gets in the ring, and then it's slow moving, and then it was a couple moves by Tyrus, and then boom, Tyrus wins. Now, I was kind of surprised that they had Tyrus win, but I'm totally fine with it, because we know we know EC3 is leaving, or has left, and so like I'm cool with them having Tyrus win, because I've always been saying I think they need to book Tyrus to be that kind of big guy. We all know he can talk. Is he good in the ring? No, he's not like great. But I think he can pull off being the big baddie type guy. You know what I mean? Like just being this big, massive dude. I mean, he was a bodyguard for most of his life. So I just think if you kind of don't be like, hey, act like you would be if you were still being a bodyguard for like Snoop. You know what I mean? Like, how would you act? You would act stoic, just kind of chill, whatever, hey, and then, you know, be a man of few words, but few meaningful words, even though he can talk, you know, and just have him just kind of be this big badass, right? I think Tyrus could pull that off. Have him take that attitude, put it in the ring, have him do a couple impactful moves, great. Don't have him be a guy, you know, like Falaba, that is constantly being taken off his feet. Tyrus needs to be a guy that hardly ever leaves his feet. He's a big, big dude. And I understand EC3 is a big, strong dude too, but it should take a big move to take him off his feet. And that's all I'm saying, because as far as like how you can get around his shortcomings of being super athletic, because he's not very athletic. He's just a big, strong dude, and he's very imposing, and he's got a good look for what you want. He's larger than life. His whole look is larger than life, which is good for professional wrestling. But I do like that new move, the Tongan death grip kind of choke slam thing. Love it. That's cool. That's something that Tyrus needs to do. Either that, or he can stick with the thumb pick move, where he hits you in like the throat with the thumb. I think that would be cool too. You could keep that one. But yeah, both those moves would be really good for him. And then, like I said, Tyrus wins. Then we get a OVE promo, which I thought was really cool. Definitely different. Makes them these things. They make them look super sadistic. Just just gritty, and almost looks like something like out of a horror film. Really cool. I'm really enjoying that stuff. And ever since Sami Callihan has joined OVE, he looked like he's taken them to the whole new top. That dude can talk. He can play a part. He is great. Love Sami Callihan. Super happy he's in Impact Wrestling. And from the sounds of it, and every time he's done an interview or I see him on Twitter talking about Impact Wrestling, he seems dedicated and full-blown ready to go. Like, he wants to make Impact Wrestling great. Like, he wants to make Impact Wrestling a top-notch promotion. And we need more guys like him and Moose and stuff like that. And, even Eli Drake. Eli Drake's talked a lot about, he wants Impact to be his home. So, if you get more guys like those three that really boost Impact Wrestling and Impact Wrestling's image, man, like, I think Impact is definitely on the right road to getting back to being up there as far as being a number 2 promotion in this country. I think right now they're very close to being number 2. I think obviously, like if you just go by numbers and you know they're in so many homes across the world and everything, sure. But I think as far as popularity wise and maybe even money making wise, Ring of Honor probably is the number 2 in the U.S. And then probably in Japan because you know they're pretty much like I went on this in another video. Ring of Honor basically is New Japan, it's just like a different brand of it. But enough of that. But anyway, so we get that OVE promo. Then we get a debut of the new virtual studio for the commentators, which I thought looked really cool. It was fine. It's a good way to get the commentators on TV, so we see who's talking, especially for any new viewers that are coming in. You get a sense of who's talking about talking during the matches. I'd still rather them just do the commentary during the thing, but I mean I get why they don't. I mean, if anything, they could at least be there, calling the action live, and then they can do different on-screen segments in their virtual studio, right? I think there's a happy medium that they could go there with, but I don't know. I just think it was a good idea to at least get the commentators on TV. After that, we get Braxton Sutter versus Phantasma. By the way, just in case anybody, saying anything, I know it's El Hijo de El Fantasma, but I'm not gonna say the full name every time. It's just Phantasma. Just like Ethan Carter the Third. I don't call him Ethan Carter the Third. Call him EC3. All right. Anyway, so it's Braxton Sutter versus Phantasma. Phantasma's new mask almost looks kind of like the Punisher. Love it. That thing is badass looking. I think what we ended up finding out later, the commentators really hammered home some foreshadowing of Braxton Sutter being different, and changing, and maybe getting a little more heelish, right? I thought the match overall. Sorry, guys, getting really close there. I thought overall the match was really good. It was really entertaining. It was fairly physical. I think most of Phantasma's matches seem to come off actually fairly physical for as much of a high flyer is. He definitely brings that physicality that Lucha Libre is also a little bit known for in his matches. And I thought it was really good because I think Sutter can go that way as well. He can look more physical in his matches and work a little more physical. But after ended up being Phantasma ended up winning. But that, I can't remember what move that was that he pulled, but it looked bad. Like I think Sutter's head actually really did hit that mat because there was just like that puddle of sweat from his head. Then after the match, Sutter got on the mic and he basically kind of cuts a heel promo, says Allie ruins lives. There's a reason why Allie's not out here. So I'm guessing he's kind of saying like, we're no longer together. But I thought he cut a really good promo. I think Sutter is definitely one of those guys who's a lot better on the mic than what we give him credit for, mainly because he hasn't really been given a shot like that. I'm hoping he eventually does, even though for his first night kind of back, he loses, then cuts a heel promo on Allie. And then Brian Cage comes out and destroys Braxton Sutter. And Brian Cage is a beast. So, I don't know. And then what happened later on, he comes out during the Laurel Van Ness thing and is told no. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Sutter. At least he's on TV and he's in the middle of something. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll see where his character goes. I'm still holding out to see where his character goes because he could play, just like this kind of like epic failing heel, and then he could always be super entertaining and, you know, be really good and on TV every week, and I'd be fine with that. Excuse me. Then we get a Matt Sidell video package, where it's kind of like one of those sit-down interview looking kind of video packages. Excuse me. Where he says a lot of different things about a spiritual advisor and all this stuff, and then at the end he says that he can't wait to share him with everyone. Or did he say share him? I think he did. But share a spiritual guide with everyone. Then after that, they have him standing next to Mackenzie Mitchell, getting ready for an interview, when Ishimori pops up, and, you know, they have a little kind of funny conversation there, where he hands him a scroll, and he's like, "What? Is this a scroll? Is this a Japanese scroll? I can't read Japanese," even though he's spoken Japanese to like Ishimori before. And he goes, "Here, you read it," and hands it to Mackenzie, and she's like, I don't know Japanese. I can't read Japanese." And so then Ishimori just takes it and goes, "You are a douchebag." Oh my god, it was great. But basically, what ended up happening is that, yes, next week at Crossroads, he will put up his X Division Championship, only if Sidell puts up his Grand Championship, and it sounds like that's what's happening. So it's gonna be title versus title next week, which I can't wait for. Then we get another great segment, Congo Kong versus Joseph Park. Again, I call it a segment because it's not a match. I don't care what anybody. This was not a match. This was a squash match to further a story between these two guys. So this was a segment. Congo Kong versus Joseph Park. Kong absolutely just destroys Park. There was a couple different moments where Park thought he maybe did put a good move, and it didn't happen. But after the match, Jacobs gets on the mic and keeps asking for Abyss. And Congo Kong gets behind him with the scarf, starts choking him, and like Joseph Park gets super red, starts turning like purple, almost looks like Brock Lesnar whenever he's wrestled for 2 minutes. And he just keeps asking him, like, one last time, where, you know, are we gonna get Abyss? Park's still kind of like saying no. So finally, you know, he almost gets choked fully out, I think, is kind of how it went. But Congo Kong definitely, like, lets him go. And then Jacob says, you know, we're only getting started. So, again, another good little segment. Can't wait to see what happens with that. If he shows up at Crossroads in another couple weeks on Impact, I don't know. But should be fun and interesting. Then we get maybe the video package of the night, and it's the Kohli, Trevor Lee, and Caleb Conley. Caleb Conley's already there. He's got his Hawaiian shirt on. He's got the bandana. He's got this little mini hat. And they're out there getting ready. He's like, "Oh, come on, Trevor, I got the celebration." Oh my god, they're just so hilarious. And Trevor Lee is amazing. Just absolutely amazing. Then the Mumbai Cats show up, and they're like apologizing, and Caleb's like, "Yeah, and just by the way, just so you guys know, it was not because Conan scared us earlier in the night, okay?" Yeah. And then they're like, "You know what, let's be friends, let's have shots. All right, yeah, let's do shots." And then of course Trevor and Caleb were the only two that took the shots because they don't have any milk. That was great. Then out of nowhere, Conan shows up, comes walking up. And so Trevor Lee and Caleb Conley, Kohli, stand up. They, you know, talk back and forth. Then Conan says, "I didn't come alone." And the Mumbai Cats are standing behind Kohli, and they reveal themselves this time to actually be Santana and Ortiz of LAX. And of course, they attack them, and they ended up throwing them into the pool. I thought it was great, absolutely hilarious. Definitely little shades of Final Deletion stuff. I just thought it was really good, done really well. Super funny. I'm down with those type of video package, vignette, promo, whatever the hell you want to call them, type segments. Those are great. Up next we get Hanaya versus Rosemary. ooh, this must be Hanaya's last match. This is probably whenever they're like, yeah, you can leave. No problem. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just go our separate ways. But just wrestle this one last match. Oh, okay. Okay, you're going to get squashed. It gets squashed bad. Because Rosemary, yeah, just absolutely destroyed Hanaya for the win. Then she gets on the mic after the match. It's kind of a reoccurring theme. The whole getting on the mic after the match. Rosemary says she is the alpha bitch, and she wants her Knockouts title back. Then out of nowhere, lights go off, and it's the return of Taya Valkyrie. Yes, been waiting for this return. But yeah, super excited. Love that Taya's back. She's looking great. And then of course, you know, they kind of exchange some words. You know, Rosemary started saying, you know, or Taya says, you know, you're not the alpha bitch, you're just a bitch. In fact, you're Taya's bitch. And of course, you know, she's like, come on, let's go. Rosemary's like, oh, I want to fight you right now. Taya kind of pretends like she's backing out. So Rosemary goes to leave the ring. She's standing on top of the outside of the apron. And Taya comes running and just attacks her, gives her the Road to Valhalla on the ramp. Oh, and it looked bad. Looked really good, though, as far as just the whole segment. Loved it. Loved that these two are finally going to be able to have an actual rivalry, a full feud. Hopefully we'll get that, excuse me, Red Wedding match that we all wanted to see at Bound for Glory. Hopefully we'll still get to see that. Definitely just so glad that Taya Valkyrie's back. Then we get the commitment ceremony for Laurel Van Ness and her Knockouts title. KM will be the minister, and I thought he played his part really well. He's really funny, kind of like justifying what this was, what was happening. No, this is real. This is, you know, this can happen. Saying that he's done this all these different types of weddings and everything else. Laurel keeps saying, no, jump to the objection part. Jump to the objection part. So he asks. And of course, then out of nowhere, here comes Braxton Sutter. Sutter basically says, look, I made a big mistake. That was one of the biggest mistakes of my life. Allie does ruin lives. I love you. I want to be with you and the Knockouts title, please. And she says no. And then Braxton ends up having to leave. And, you know, Cam's like, epic fail, bro. That was really funny. This whole segment is actually really funny. That led up to something really good. So, of course, then, you know, Cam tries to go forward, and she goes, no, ask again. And, like, nobody, and so she's like, ask again. So then he keeps asking. Love that part, because then the commentators started hinting at, oh, I think she's trying to, you know, what is she, you know, she's trying to do something. There's a reason why she's doing this, right? She's trying to lure somebody out. I keep wanting to say Laurel somebody out. And, of course, from behind, there's this person like a hoodie and a hat and baggy pants and goes sliding in the ring, and she reveals herself to be Allie, and Allie attacks Laurel Van Ness. And, of course, then she rolls out, and then we find out that next week at Crossroads it will be Allie versus Laurel Van Ness for that Knockouts title. Hopefully Allie wins it. I'm pretty sure she does, because obviously Laurel's leaving. So, yeah, I can't wait to see this happen. Again, and I think heard this one time from BQ on the Impact Lounge, where he said, you know, they need to have Allie win it at a live event to get that real big emotional, you know, thing with it. And I agree with that. So that's unfortunate that this can't happen at like a pay-per-view, or that this isn't going to be a live show. It's very unfortunate. But, you know, hey, nonetheless, be awesome to see Allie win the title. Then we get the main event, Sami Callihan versus Eddie Edwards. Now, the match starts off just full blow go, and it was awesome. They were changing tope suicidas. That was really kind of cool. just the whole match was just absolutely amazing. That's a main event, and I love that they keep giving these main events time, and it's not the same people in the main event every week. It's different people. It's mixtures of different people. This match was just, I just really enjoyed this match. Eddie Edwards ends up getting the win. Then we get the thing we've all been waiting for. Not really waiting for, like we can't wait to see it, but like we've been curious to see what, what really happened with this whole baseball bat thing. And of course, after the match, he starts attacking Eddie. They go to the back because the Chris brothers were kicked out earlier. They go to the back, and Lashley's coming in to try to help Eddie, but the Chris brothers catch him and beat him down in the back. So then Sami has enough time. He gives him this nasty, like, shoulder breaker. And then as he's laying there, he goes out, grabs a chair, puts a chair on the chest. And it looks like he was trying to go for the chair, right? But he totally... At first, I thought he hit the chair, but he hit the chair so hard that those folding chairs are pretty weak, that it just went like this, and then his follow-through went down on his forehead area. But I just saw like a different angle earlier that Impact Wrestling on their Twitter tweeted out, like the backstage footage. So of course they re-show this, and it was a slow motion. He missed that whole chair and just hit Eddie right in the face. And I'm pretty sure it's either you're supposed to hit the chair and then come across, like come down. But like since he totally whiffed, it just went straight onto his face. Oh man. Tell you what though, Eddie's a beast, man, because in that backstage stuff, Eddie's just like walking around. I'm sure he's already had his moments of like, oh my god. But Eddie's walking around, he's still delivering freaking lines. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to hospital right now, but it's alright, and trust me, I'm going to be able to come back and come for you, Sami. Like, oh my god. Like, if I would have gotten hit in the face with a baseball bat like that, I'd be like, I don't know, I can't say nothing. I mean, I would have been a mess. But Eddie's just like, nah, it's cool. Just gonna go get this checked out. Sami, I'm coming for you, buddy. Like, just thought he was badass. All these guys are badasses. I thought overall, though, like I said, this episode was chock full of excitement and entertainment and fun. Love where Impact Wrestling is going. And I love seeing on Twitter more and more people saying, hey, I haven't watched Impact in a while, or I've never watched Impact before, but now I'm hearing good things. I'm checking this out. I think I'm going to keep checking it out. I'm seeing that happen more and more on Twitter, and it makes me super happy, man. I'm super stoked to see where Callis and D'Amore take this company, man. And, saw not too long ago in an interview, just the other day, Bischoff saying, like, no, there's nobody in Impact Wrestling that has the vision to take them. Man, shut up. You didn't. You didn't have the vision. And he can keep saying all he wants about how, like, well, him and Hogan weren't really much bullshit. Because if you had nothing to do with creative, the first day on the job, you wouldn't have had Scott Hall in there, Sean Waltman back, the Nasty Boys, Jimmy Hart, Val Venus. Like, come on. Come on. No, you had a lot to do with creative, and it didn't take us anywhere. So, I think these two guys do. I think wrestling's at a different place now than it was even 10 years ago. And I think this is kind of... There is no more competing straight head-to-head with WWE. What you can do is make enough noise to where people aren't going to flock to go there no matter what. I think that's important. I think New Japan, Impact, hopefully maybe even Ring of Honor. Really, I guess Ring of Honor is just due to default of being associated with New Japan. If those three companies can really get big enough and be popular enough to where they can bring in enough money to start paying people enough to keep people like on their roster, no, will those companies ever compete with the WWE? No. Will they be able to do enough, have enough success that, like I said, they can keep wrestlers to the point of, you know, you don't just have people like, you know, we don't have Lashley just leaving to the WWE. You don't have EC3 or whoever else just leave just because, screw it, WWE's finally calling, so I'm gone. And, you know, because they're on national TV, they're going to make the money and blah, blah, blah. Because once you can get to that point, yeah, you might not be like competing directly like it used to be between WCW and WWE, but I think it would be enough of a statement that WWE would then think we need to change something. We need to be more creative somehow. And I think until then, until that happens, wrestling, I think, as a whole, because where WWE goes, wrestling goes, right? Especially in the big landscape of mainstream. It's just going to be boring and stagnant. And I'm not saying that's what's happening in each individual thing, especially independent wrestling. I'm just talking about the way wrestling is looked at as a whole, especially from even outsiders or casual fans. You know, so, you know, I always want good things for all companies, because the more wrestling, the more creative it is, the more fun it is to watch, the better, man. I just really think that. So I don't care what company it is, as long as they're fun to watch, it's a good thing. But yeah, so that's my review from last night's episode of Impact Wrestling. You know, guys, go check out my video I put up yesterday. Talk about the announcement about Impact versus Lucha Underground at WrestleCon. Just kind of talk about all the different possibilities. I give my little idea on what I think they might be able to do creatively after that show with Lucha Underground. If you guys want to know what I thought, go check out my video. Go check out some of my other videos. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscription button. Give me a like. Hit me down in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought of the show. Also, hit me up at Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter at Anthem of Impact. I always want to say like .com after that. I don't know why. I don't have one. It's just at Anthem of Impact. Anyway, should have popped up actually down below. At Anthem. Also should have popped up at the beginning of this video. Why do I know that? Because I edit it that way. Alright, everybody. Unless some other breaking news happens, I will see you guys next Friday for another review. Until then, Impact Nation, peace.